Welcome to Real Talk Wrestling. I'm your host, Josh. With me, not pictured, Miami Clutch. I know he's been on, but he's on that Roman Reigns schedule. I get it, but he's making his major comeback. And of course, we have a special guest. No, this is not babyface Chris Colfer. This is Justin Toner.
Hi.
Justin's a friend of the show, but not of this show, a friend of the network, I would say, right?
Mhm.
First time on this show.
Yeah.
Justin Toner, you have a podcast of your own, a wrestling podcast. You can go ahead
Yep.
and plug it.
Yes. My friend and I, Josh Mayberry, who's friends with Bobby here of the network.
Ooh.
They work together. We have a podcast. It's on Ruckus Wrestling on Ruckus Entertainment YouTube channel and Twitch, where we talk wrestling every Thursday night. We'll be talking about 90 or so minutes from now. So it's like, but I was kind enough to be invited to talk wrestling here with you guys this evening, and I'm looking forward to it. It's a lot of interesting stuff going on,
Yes,
especially in
it is.
WWE.
Make sure you guys catch him 9 p.m. Eastern, right after this show on the Ruckus Network. Clutch,
What's
it's
up,
been a
man?
while since since we've talked this wrestling stuff. SummerSlam was freaking awesome. I gave it an A minus. It was one of the best SummerSlams I've ever witnessed in my life, followed by one of the best Raws of all time.
Absolutely.
Man, it's been a long time since we spoke. How have you been? How's wrestling been treating you, Clutch?
So I've been able to just not analyze as much since I kind of knew like I wasn't gonna make it because the schedule was kind of off for like the last 2 weeks for me, maybe longer. And so I've been just been watching like normally. It's been fun, man. Like you said it. I was there on the show right before SummerSlam, and we kind of like set our expectations. Said it was going to be the best SummerSlam probably in a very, very long time, and it was. And then you went on to Raw and how storylines just fully progressed. It's really been fun as a wrestling fan, and also I always got to throw in my little NXT plug because I'll die for those guys. NXT been great. They're uphill like momentum still going.
Yeah. Josh, or Justin, jeez.
It's all right.
Avery's on my mind because that's the last thing. Justin, are you a big NXT viewer? Do you check in Spirit like every week, or are you just more of a YouTube kind of guy?
I'm a regular viewer. I catch it live whenever I can. Because like I started watching Rated like when like Black and Gold like takeover time NXT was at its peak. You know, Adam Cole, Johnny Gargano, and all those guys. That's just watching those shows was amazing. One of my favorite memories, personally, wrestling wise, is I got me and my friend, because I'm in Western New York. It wasn't that far of a drive to get there. We went to Toronto in 2019 to watch the NXT Takeover in Toronto on SummerSlam weekend. We didn't go to SummerSlam. We just went to the NXT. We went there just for NXT, and then left back the day that SummerSlam was going to happen because we were more invested in NXT than SummerSlam. And yeah, that was one of the most fun experiences I ever had, especially like the main event, which was the third match between Cole and Gargano in their feud. It was like basically a 3 stages of hell match. That match was nuts. So very fond of NXT. It was rough. The 2.0 era was very rough. There was a lot of stuff there was some stuff that was working, but they were throwing a lot of stuff that wasn't working. But I definitely could see some of the talent coming through, especially like Roxanne Perez, Tiffany Stratton, and a couple other people. But once HBK kind of like really got the reins and was able to not have, worry about Vince and other people looking over his shoulder, NXT's really kind of turned the corner, especially after they dropped the 2.0. Even though it's not like Black and Gold, it's definitely more fun and consistent now, and they got some really great talent there that has a lot of potential. And we've already seen some successes come up to the main roster. I mean, like Braun Breaker and Tiffany Stratton getting called up. They've worked out phenomenal. Some other people still need some work, but it's in the area where I'm not worried about them going to the main roster and be like, oh no, is Vince going to fuck them up? It's like it's like their odds of succeeding once they get called up is a lot better than it was like a couple years ago. So
I want to. Ask both of you guys this. Interrupt me just like I interrupted Justin if I'm going crazy here. So I believe the Black and Gold era of NXT was probably the best era. You could put it up there with the Attitude Era, as in this is the best. I watched NXT Black and Gold religiously. I never stayed around to watch the pay-per-views. Like the takeovers were life, right?
Mhm.
It's like you said, you went there. Then it changed to 2.0. And I remember watching that episode. I watched it, and it was one of the most laughable things I've ever seen. It was embarrassing, actually. Now, fast forward to 2024, you
Mhm.
saw casual viewers who said, I'm not watching this junk anymore because of 2.0. Every highlight you see, if you just watch highlights, are just same, well lit. It's a small arena. It still has the same vibe to me as 2.0. You just got rid of the tie dye everywhere. That being said, now that Ethan Page is there, now that I'm seeing Joe Hendry show up, now that I'm seeing interesting stories, it looks like we have this Jada Parker lady. She's attractive. So I
So
will
good.
tune in.
Jada Parker is one that
Did we all freeze?
I've been keeping my eye on in the women's division. She's got a lot of potential. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, exactly. So now that I'm checking it on YouTube, like I sent you the screenshot, Clutch. I told Koffler, who's not here tonight. He's like, is there anything interesting on Raw? Well, I didn't watch Raw yet, didn't watch it live, but you need to go watch that Ethan Page and Joe Hendry promo. It's not phenomenal. It's not going to blow you away, but it's better than anything we get Wednesday night. And that's the stuff that NXT is doing. And I was thinking to myself, watching that video, I'm like, TNA is doing the greatest job ever with pairing with NXT. Like, this is great for both. Bobby, on No Holds Barred was very upset that Joe Hendry didn't win the title for TNA. And I'm like, why would he?
I was upset because it's like for the first time ever I watched like a TNA like pay-per-vieiew in like I hadn't watched that since the days of AJ Styles and Samoa Joe, dude. It's like that's how long it's been since I watched like a TNA pay-per-view. But I tuned in because I was wanting to see if Joe Hendry was going to win the title, and I was watching it, and it's like, and I was like with the crowd, I was like, what the F are you doing? But then I calmed down afterwards, and the more I thought about it, I realized with this crossover with NXT, especially if you're going to have Joe Hendry go after the NXT title, which is now happening, I think he's going to be winning the number one contender match, because it makes sense because he's the only face in that match. Like Wesley and Pete Dunne are both heel right now. So, I mean, it's very highly likely he's going to win the number one contender match. So it wouldn't make sense for them to put the title on Hendry now because he's not going to be like taking the NXT title. He's going to look good. They're going to present him well, but he's not going to win. So that would hurt TNA to have their champion job out to the NXT champion, So in hindsight, it made sense why they're holding off on giving Joe Hendry the big belt. I think eventually it's going to happen. They can't wait for too long just because of how popular and hot he is right now. Mm-hmm. But now I think about it, it makes sense why they held off giving him the title and they gave it to Nemeth instead.
Yeah, they should. I said that before the show happened, but it is what it is. Back to my point though of NXT. Now that I'm tuning in, I'm seeing these big stars. I'm seeing Ethan Page. Ethan Page has never looked better. Yeah, never. He looks like a superstar now.
Yeah, compared to how he was treated in AEW, it's like night
and day. He looks like when he did that promo and walked to the ring and took, he has a swag he never had. I mean, we saw in AEW, but okay, back to my AEW point or my NXT point. I'm just rambling. Clutch. How are they going to be able to get viewers back in? One, because honestly, a lot of people are burnt from 2.0. We don't know what's going on over there unless you go seek out the content, Clutch. How do you think they can market that? Are they doing the right job by getting guys up there going, oh, this is from NXT, whoever, Carmelo Hayes, like whoever. Are they doing a good enough job?
You see, I mean, first of all, you see the call-ups. You see the success of like Braun Breaker's a beast. He's supposed to be a heel, but everybody's barking along with him during his backstage promos and whatever. He's insanely over. Where's he from? NXT. They plug it in, whatever. But the big marketing, I think, comes now. I think guys like, for example, Joe Hendry helped because he's genuinely over and popular even without NXT before that. And they see, okay, Joe Hendry's there. Let me tune into there. And then you see what's going on NXT. Really good stuff all around. If you go past just watching clips and go through a whole show, it's really good stuff. But the big promotional thing that's going to happen to get people to view in, they're switching over to the CW.
Exactly.
In October 1st, I think. And the first show in the Allstate Arena in Chicago with CM Punk. everybody's tuning in. And then the
tuning in.
following week, if that wasn't enough for you, they're in St. Louis with Randy Orton. So
Yeah.
they're gonna get their guys in there right now. Even now, like they've done a really good job of improving their fan base. They've gone. I remember seeing the ratings. They went from like 500, 400 to a consistent like 600 every week, and that's really good for them. And it's only going to get bigger when you have bigger names come in. When eventually these two massive women from the world of wrestling debut, Stephanie Vaquer and Julia.
Yeah,
you can take it to a whole nother level. So NXT has been doing really, really good, and I've been praising it for the longest time, as you know, Josh. But it's only going to get a lot better, and it's going to be to a point. My last point, because I'm rambling now.
No, it's fine.
It's only going to get to a point where, and we're close already, I think, to where starting off in NXT as a free agent in wrestling is not going to be looked at as a demotion anymore, because that's what people look at it as right now.
Yeah.
Still has some work to do, but I don't think they're going to look at it like that anymore for much long. Obviously, people want to end up in the main roster because that's where WrestleMania is in the world titles.
The money.
But if you get paid main roster money and they say, oh, you got to start off in NXT for like a couple months, I don't think a lot of people would mind.
I think I think some of the bigger ones would. Like Ethan Page fits in perfect. Like that's a perfect spot. But what do you do if, the rumors are true, the Lucha Bros are coming over? Are they NXT talent? I mean, they wrestle better. They would wrestle better over there. They had the more style of what I've seen, at least. Now, I would they fit on the main roster? I don't think they would.
That's a tricky one.
That's the type of talent you make fit.
Yeah,
I guess, because I mean, I'm pretty sure I've told you this on the show, and I'm talking about months ago. When I said I don't watch AEW, my guys were the Lucha Bros when I first started watching. I said
you told me the dude with the face paint.
Yes, I did, and then I got really into it. I remember because I remember watching the original All In, and it was the 6-man tag at the end with Rey Mysterio and the Lucha Bros. If I'm not it was those guys. So it was really good stuff, and I just kept following along with their matches, and now they're WWE bound, hopefully. And I just think they're really good and too good to having them adjust to you instead of you having to adjust to them. Just put them on the main roster. You have rumors also of the Motor City Machine Guns.
Oh yeah,
and that put him all in the main roster. Revive the tag division; it needs it. You have solid day one tag teams aren't going strong right now. It's only, I guess, DIY isn't even a day one tag team if you really think about it, but they're the best tag team you got in terms of wrestling skill, unless you reunite the Usos. And you're just gonna have to basically jumpstart that tag division somehow, and the best way to do it, just throw the Lucha Bros in there.
The Lucha Brothers. Yeah, if both Lucha Brothers and the Motor City Machine Guns are coming to WWE, that's a gigantic boost to the main roster tag division, which it definitely needs it, because it feels like things spread a little thin after they split the titles at Mania this year on both shows. I mean, there's still a decent amount of tag teams, but not all of them are over. I mean, DIY slowly been getting over. The Street Profits are still Street Profits. The fans still like them. You got the Bloodline, of course, and apparently the Bloodline is operating by Freebird rules. Apparently, with the tag titles, because even though Jacob Fatu is out injured, they're saying that they haven't been stripped of the titles because apparently they can have Solo Tonga Loa team with his brother to defend them while Jacob is injured.
Well, they need to keep him off TV. They need to keep him off TV.
Oh yeah, that's totally being done on purpose to keep him away from Roman for a bit, because they can't have that yet, not yet. No, but I agree. The Lucha Brothers, I think, I mean, I could see why they maybe wanted to spend some time in NXT, but they're such veterans at this point, especially, and also the Motor City Guns, they don't need that seasoning in NXT. If Ricky Starks or Daniel Garcia jump ship, it would make sense for them maybe spend a little bit of time in NXT before going to the main roster. I think Daniel Garcia, if he decided to jump, he would definitely benefit from spending some time in NXT. Ricky Starks, He's pretty much almost. I would consider him pretty much main roster ready almost myself. But I wouldn't mind if he spent some time in NXT, even if it's just like for a brief stint before going to the main roster, because it feels like he's ready to. He's just there. Tony. It feels like Tony Khan is just sitting at home because he knows that he wants out, and so he's not going to use him. That's why he hasn't been on TV for months. The Lucha Brothers haven't been on TV for a while. It definitely feels like the only one I think might stay is Daniel Garcia, from what I'm hearing. He's kind of like. He's like 50-50. Daniel Garcia might stay, especially because the allure of if he comes back, he's got that ready-made feud with MJF to go with. So, that's very appealing. So we'll see. But lastly, I'm excited for the women's division NXT with Stephanie Becker and Julia coming in. I can't wait for them to show up because the NXT women's division's already got some great talent. You got Roxanne at the top, and you got some great talent like Jada Parker, Sol Ruka. Lula Vice has become really good. Let's say like Fallon Henley, JC Jane. They got some great talent there. And then you add in those two coming in with what they can do. NXT Women's Division is going to be insane when those two are added to the show. It's like I'm so excited. I can't wait to see like all the different combinations they can do, like Roxanne versus Stephanie or Julia, and even some of the other talent against either one of them. And if I've heard there's stories about that they may have signed the major talent. Her name's Delta from Australia, from Australian promotion. I think it's this. She's highly touted. I haven't seen any footage of her online, so I don't know. But a lot of people seem to speak highly of her. So, and of course, they're definitely going to try to lure Jordan Grace over for sure when her contract's up in January. The way that they treat her in NXT, it's like I think WWE's got a really good shot of luring Jordan Grace to come over, and then you add her in, like, man, if you lure Jordan Grace over, them along with Stephanie Kerr and Julia, like the women's main roster will be stacked for like years to come, just with those three, and then you got all the other talent that's got potential that's already in the pipeline. So,
Clutch has been saying that for ever since I know him.
I'm so happy just hearing somebody echo what I've been saying for the longest.
Clutch is smiling ear to ear right now. Here's what we're going to focus on too, where we've talked a lot of. That's the most NXT talk, real talk wrestling has ever had.
I love it.
Period. All right, let's get to SummerSlam though. I know it's been a while since SummerSlam happened, but we haven't talked Clutch. Just quick thoughts on it. I do want to know what you thought about the entire show in a whole. You don't have to go match by match. Just key points that you really enjoyed.
I think quality-wise, everything was really, really good to great from start to finish. It benefits from not going 10, 11 matches for a big show like that. It was, I think, 7, and I think that's good enough. Every match got time. Mm-hmm. Sammy and Braun was a little bit shorter, but
5 minutes.
You kind of want Braun to dominate,
so
don't mind. They had a really good 2 out of 3 falls match on Raw.
Oh yeah, it was great.
So I thought that was great. But yeah, SummerSlam, it did everything it needed to do. It delivered on every point, I think. It progressed a lot of storylines. There's people polarized somewhat on McIntyre Punk. I think it progressed storyline. The feud's meant to go 3 matches. So start off with that. Seth, you set up Seth for down the road for Punk. Then you can move on to like the harder hitting stuff. The next match, it looks like it's going to be a strap match with McIntyre and Punk, and it's going to be in Berlin, and I'm happy as hell about this. Boots on the ground, I'll be there. So it's going to be really fun, and can't go without the OTC. One of the biggest without being on TV, he became the biggest babyface in wrestling without spending 1 second on TV since WrestleMania. And that's incredible. If you see the pops from SmackDown and everything, Roman as a babyface is really fun, and I cannot wait. I cannot wait for them to get Jacob Fatu in there. They're keeping them away from each other, but when they first meet, Jacob's going to beat the shit out of him. Sorry, Bobby.
Oh yeah. They have to, because they got to make. He's already been presented as a beast, so it's like he's going to be like the big roadblock for Roman dealing with the bloodlines once Jacob comes back and it's like starts wrecking shop. I felt the same way. I really enjoyed the show. I thought that overall it was one of the best SummerSlams in years, top to bottom. A lot of good matches. I felt Punk McIntyre, maybe not the best wrestling wise, but the storytelling in that match was insane. I was like, I loved it, especially the whole stuff with the bracelet and him like losing his cool and attacking Seth and that costing him the match. The little nods to like SummerSlam '97. It's like and stuff like that. I've loved this feud, and I liked how that finished. And so it's like McIntyre needed to win that match to keep the feud going, especially after getting screwed so many times in a row. He needed a W in the feud. So now we're on to the next phase. I thought Gunther Priest was really freaking good. Those guys beat the crap out of each other. I mean, you're used to Gunther like chopping the hell out of someone and their chest being like look like hamburger. Priest made his chest bleed, and I was like, "Damn, dude!" It's like he can fight back. As like I was impressed. I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Oh my god, Gunther's bleeding! What the hell is this?" And the finish with as soon as Finn came out and knew what was going to happen, I was like, "Oh, here's the screw job. It's finally happening," and it was done really well. Main event was all right. But the finish I thought was good with Roman's return and the reaction. It's been crazy how they got Roman so over as a babyface and he wasn't even on TV for months because the way that they executed the storyline with Solo taking over, what he did to Jimmy, then what he did to Heyman. It's like the fans just like he's like Dominic Mysterio level hatred from the fans right now. And so it's like and then he got the Roman chance because they wanted Roman to come back to kick his ass. Mm-hmm. And so they were just, waiting for the right time. And, now he's back. And so we very to see where it's going to go, especially when the numbers game catch up to him and what he needs to reconcile with some people, sort things out to get some help at some point, because he's not going to be able to win the fight all by himself as much as probably some people would want him to, but not with Jacob Fatu on the other side. It's like, it's like, this is all leading to a Bloodline Civil War Games match, and that's going to be awesome.
So, Clutch, if you had to guess one thing I did not like about SummerSlam, which one do you think it would be?
What do you like? Knowing you, I'm trying to think. Nia?
Well, yeah, that. Come on.
Yeah,
that was awful.
That was my only disappointment. Was I was kind of hoping. My heart wanted Bayley to keep the title, but my head was telling me no, they're going to give it to Nia, and that's
Hey, that power bomb.
Oh, that was
nasty.
That was a great spot.
Bayley picked her whole weight up.
That woke the crowd up because the crowd. That was one of the few matches where the crowd wasn't really into it.
That was nap time
until that spot, and then after that, they got into the match after she did the power bomb.
Yeah, I agree. But honestly, that you can't say that match because you knew I was gonna I knew going in. I was predetermined that was gonna be the worst match on the card. Because Nia Jax is incredibly bad. But I don't care how much I popped. I don't care. And I said this on the whole, I don't care how much I popped because I did. I'm like, this is awesome. Roman coming back was, to me, okay, listen, and hear me out, Clutch, hear me out. I liked it. I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I still rewatch it. I think it was a great moment. I think it was, I love Roman. I love everything about the story. I do love it. Okay. But afterwards, I'm like, gosh, man, it just doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense right now. He does not roll out of bed for freaking Solo Sikoa. He shouldn't care. Solo's a little gnat on my shoulder. I just, whatever, get away. I flicked this dude away. He's a nobody. If I want Roman back, it's got to be to confront The Rock, the final boss.
Okay.
I think that's eventually going to happen.
I know, but his first time coming back is for Solo. Okay. That's like me coming back to go punch a little kid in the face. Like, it doesn't make sense.
Right. And I get that, but here's the thing. Solo took out Jimmy, which is not something he wanted. Then he hurt the Wise Man, which is also a big no-no. And then he started talking all kinds of trash to Roman. If Roman didn't respond at some point, it would make him look bad.
Clutch, is he right? Tell me.
He's right, Josh. Josh, and the funny thing about all of this, we spoke about this last time. Yeah. You said the same thing. Why is he returning for Solo? I understand your side of this, but we
Yeah.
spoke about this.
Yes, we did.
He's coming back for the title that means the most to him, and it's not the WWE Championship. It's the head of the table. Solo first he just took it and said Roman's not coming back, and we talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
But then he came on a promo and said if Roman wants it, he has to take it from me.
Yeah.
He took out Paul Heyman, which is like taking
Yeah.
out Roman's own son or father.
Father. Yeah.
And it, to me, I don't see it from your point in that way. Like he has every reason to come after Solo.
I know.
Yeah, and also he called Solo. He said Roman was weak. He couldn't get the job done. It's it's like it. So it's like he's really insulting Roman's integrity.
You guys are all right. It's just I don't want to. I still don't want to accept it. Like
I get it.
Like the guy that loses to everybody. Like that's who Roman's worried about.
And that's one of the other problems is that the problem was after he beat John Cena at I think it was Crown Jewel last year. Between that to WrestleMania, Solo was treated as the jobber for the Bloodline. It's like when the Bloodline needed to lose some kind of match, Solo did the job.
He was the Wheeler Yuta. He was
the Wheeler Yuta. He was the jobber.
He's the Austin Theory.
Yeah, and then, but I understand why they had to do the pivot after WrestleMania with him taking over the Bloodline. You know, and it works storyline wise. It's just that if they had not had him job so much between beating Cena to WrestleMania, people would buy him more as a legit threat than they do. It's like because like I was like. I mean, they tried, you know, they had him pin Cody at Money in the Bank to set up the title match. You know, it's like it made sense. But I never once feared that he was going to take the title because it's like, I was like, it's like Cody said, you're not ready. It's like he's not on that level yet. It's like he hasn't been built up properly enough that you feel like he's a main event threat. He's a threat, but not like that kind of threat. And so now the focus, like he's saying, is it's about the head of the table position now. It's like, which is as much as the WWE and the title's meant to him, obviously, it's being the head of the table and head of the family that's most important to him. And Solo has basically like stolen that in his absence and disrespected him, disrespected the family. He can't let stand. But it's also going to factor into Rock coming back because this perfectly sets up Rock looking like comes back. He looks like he's on Roman's side, but then he turns on him and realizes that he's actually on Solo's side and be like, You helped Cody Rhodes. You helped Cody Rhodes over your own family. It's like you chose Cody Rhodes over your own family. Mm-hmm. How could you betray our family like that? It's like he's got the perfect justification for Rock Roman to eventually have their big one-on-one match when he comes back, whenever that's going to happen. So it's like they set up a lot of stuff with him coming back and attacking Solo and letting Cody win. You know. And plus, that also sets up stuff in where it's like Cody said, like I owe him one, and so he can cash it in and be like, you know, hey, let's do a rematch, let's complete the trilogy. You know, it's like at some point.
I feel like Clutch, you're talking to me like you were a disappointed dad. Like Josh, we went over this. Like
we did. This is the exact conversation. That's why I like talked like that. We actually did have the very same conversation.
I know. I'm remembering. I still don't like it. I don't agree with it. It's like I don't know how many times I have to read this story. I don't like it. I just don't like that story.
Mm-hmm.
But that's me. That's fine. It makes sense.
Exactly.
But I think that was like the only thing. But there was one thing I changed my mind on where I did not like, and it's the Finn Balor spot.
Oh, okay.
I hated that spot so much because I feel like, I'm still upset with Gunther because he messed that up. Gunther messed that up.
Yeah, he had to rolling him to the
ropes.
Too much to get close to the ropes.
Gunther should have rolled one more time, made a full like pretend like you're trying to roll out of the ring.
Yes,
and then Priest could have stopped him,
mm-hmm.
right? Covered him, and then that's because Priest just looked like a complete.
He was a little out of position, and he realized that he needed to get over a little bit more so that Finn could put his foot on the rope.
Yeah, but that wasn't the spot I was angry at. That happens. Botches happen. That was a botch.
Yeah,
I was mad that Priest had his back turned to Finn Balor, and then he put his, and then we had to watch the replay. We had to watch Damian Priest had to watch the replay to see his friend betray him instead of actually seeing it in real life.
Yeah.
I hated that so much, Clutch. Before I tell you why I changed my mind, did you like that spot? Did you think it was fine, Clutch?
I didn't think of it like you did, where I was like, oh, he should have seen it firsthand. I saw it more of like, I see what they're trying to do. They've never really done it where somebody finds something out through replay.
Mhm.
and WWE, especially today, is trying to do things new things, try things out, see if it works, see if it doesn't. So I understand why they did it. I'm not gonna say I didn't like it, I didn't hate it. I think it did the job, which is what I say a lot about a lot of things. But yeah, I think it did its purpose. I didn't hate it, I didn't like it. I'm kind of neutral on it, but it served the purpose of continuing that storyline.
Mhm.
It just bugged me the fact that, okay, if we have replays going on, why isn't the referee seeing all this? Why didn't the referee before see what Dom did? We have replays, but why didn't it get over? So it makes everyone look pretty stupid.
That's a good point.
That is a good point.
It makes everyone. So okay, so I hated it at the moment. Then I thought about it. I saw Finn Balor's promo. You know, he looks like he's going to be a cowardly heel. He's a coward heel. He attacks from behind. And I'm like, okay, this is actually kind of genius because he wanted to continue stabbing Damian Priest in the back. So you're not going to see me do it, and you're not going to know why Gunther's going to beat you, and you're not going to know why I'm the reason why. And then he saw the fucking replay, and that's when Priest is like, okay, fuck, you got me, and starts smiling at him.
Yeah, he made it clear that he's been plotting this for like a
very long time. So I'm like, okay, I actually like the fact that Finn did it behind his back because his whole mission statement is, I'm going to get you when you're not looking behind your back. That's his whole mission statement now. So it makes sense. So that's why I changed my mind. Just want to get that out there into the world. So I'm not a fraud. Like later on, like Josh I'm clipped myself like, oh, I hate this thing. Now I'm like, this was genius. So.
No, I didn't flip flop.
Also, I realized that I completely skipped over when I was telling you how much I like SummerSlam. And the thing I called the most, the big sloppy Lita kiss on the turn.
Oh, yeah.
And I called it before. I was like, this is going to happen and it's going to be so cool. And it was. Like the way it ended, you saw the replay and you thought it was going to end like that. It's going to be like, whatever. Then you see Dom pick her up straight to the kiss. It was just really
How'd you feel about Liv not knowing?
I don't know. Like, in a way, you want it to all be like part of the plan, but maybe I don't know. Dom maybe he's smarter than people think.
Yeah,
and he just had this plan, and you don't know what happens backstage. If they could have got a promo like this, could have been like, "Yo, you know, I had to make you believe that I didn't like you," or something like that. It would have been like a really nice little way to explain it. But other than that, like, I like what's going on with Dom. Like, I've consistently been on the good, like, liking Dom since he joined the Judgment Day, and his character has really been handled really well.
Yeah.
And props to his real life wife, because I don't know if anybody could put up with my shit if I was in this position.
Yeah. It's like I've seen him comment about that his wife is very understanding that he has to pretend to smooch other women. You know, it's like on TV. So it's like,
especially to very attractive women.
Yes.
Dom is crushing. Like, Dom is just straight up crushing. So good at what he does. I'm embarrassed at one point that I said Hook was better than Dom. I'm embarrassed. Like, no disrespect to Hook. Like, he's a phenomenal talent. No disrespect to him, but he's just this. And Dom is steadily.
He doesn't have the charisma. Dominic's got the charisma to pull out. It's like, and he's just been so good at drawing that it's the fine line between like good heel heat and X-Pac. I want you to get the F off my screen heat. It's like it threads right through the both of them to where they really hate him, but not like for real hate him. Just like, oh, we can't stand you because you're so good at what you do. You know, it's like I mean, the fact that he can barely speak every time he tries to cut a promo, it's like the boos try to drown him out. It's just amazing.
Character goes a long way in the world of wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
It goes a very long way.
It matters, and I wish Hook would get some kind of charisma or some of because he's great. I think he's good in the ring.
Yeah, I know he's very good. Hook, I agree. Hook is very good in the ring. He just needs to work on that. He needs to get that promo skills to the point where it can really help him get over. Because the fans definitely like him, but he's just missing that little bit of a little bit more character to really get over.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to teach him well over. Oh, another thing I hated over there. This is the last thing I'm going to mention about. This is the hate show. The last thing I'm going to tell you, I hated about SummerSlam, and then we'll move on to the current day product of of course, Raw from this week. Oh God. I texted Bobby as soon as I saw Arn Anderson on my television.
Oh, come on.
No, guys, because when AEW, when he was leaving AEW, Bobby asked me like, "Oh, should he go to WWE?" I'm like, "No. Last time we saw Arn Anderson and Cody Rhodes together, it was the most unwatchable thing ever. Dude, Arn Anderson's coming out with a freaking playbook. He's got a playbook. Hey, Cody, kick out. Play 2. Like, hey, do you remember that, right? He had a playbook. And you can't tell me that was Tony Khan booking because Cody had control. Cody was booking his stuff. Cody was not directly, but Cody had a lot of say in what he was doing. And that was his stupid idea. That's all. I hated seeing Arn Anderson. That's it. I just hated seeing it because it brought me back to those old times.
Oh, okay. I get it. My only complaint was that he didn't give Cody a Glock.
He didn't give him a Glock.
That's what everyone. I was like, I was thinking the same thing, and then I saw everybody online was like, "What?
Yep.
Double A, why didn't you give him a Glock? It's bloodline rules. It's like give him a Glock. Help him.
I mean, technically, it's legal. You know, bloodline rules. Just shoot him.
Your boy Cash Wheeler stole it from him. That's Cash. All right, let's focus to today's wrestling. We have a lot of stuff going on. The person who's boosted his stock the most, the person on our thumbnail, big man, 5'6", 350 pounds, Bronson Reed, laying tsunami after tsunami after tsunami. Now, this was a guy I had zero care for. I thought he was a nothing. I thought he was a nobody. He was channel changing television to me. But when he went ham on Seth, I texted Bobby, I texted Koffler. This is how you get a guy over in wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Clutch, I'm going to go to you first because you know my evolution of this whole Raw situation, me watching maybe YouTube clips, and now I'm watching every single time at 8 p.m. Eastern. What do you think about the tsunami situation? What do you think about Bronson Reed's ascent to the top, or at least getting up there? Are you excited for this?
If you ever wanted to get somebody over in a 5-minute span, that's exactly how you do it. Because, mind you, this is Seth Rollins. This is the guy they sing for, the guy they love. And he had people chanting one more time. By the way, fans are funny as hell because they were chanting one more time, and then he does it one more time, and then they start singing Seth's song. So they're funny as hell for that. But sometimes they make no sense, but that's what makes it funny. But yeah, I think if you wanted to get him over, and I think it's a good time to do it with the mid card getting stronger with Braun Breaker, with guys like in that Ilya Dragunov. I hope eventually becomes a prominent figure in that mid card division. Guys like that, I think the Intercontinental division is going to be very strong, and it's really good for Bronson. He might even, if they can keep this momentum and him being this dominant. By the way, R.I.P. R-Truth, love my guy. That broke my heart. But if they can keep going with Bronson like this, like maybe he can even sneak into maybe one title match here and there for the main title. And down the line, I think he could be that good. Wrestling wise, I think he's got the moveset for it. It's just getting people to care. And now with this, people are starting to care. And I think it was very well executed. The timing was right. Now I need to see him jump on Pierce.
Yeah, that's next. You think Pierce is next?
Maybe.
Somebody's next.
Somebody's next.
Well, so I feel like they're doing, and this is nothing against what they're doing, because I think it's fucking awesome. They're doing like a cut and paste, but altering a little bit of Braun Breaker in his situation where he didn't get what he wanted. He wanted to be noticed, so he would just demolish everybody. Now Bronson Reed's taking that role of like, oh, I don't get which is the storyline of Adam Pearce being a incompetent GM, right? Honestly. So this is great. He's going to take over the show. He's going to beat up a bunch of people. He's going to crush everybody till he gets what he wants. But what does he want? What's his main motivation? That's my question to you guys. Right. I don't know. Is it another shot at the IC title? Well, that doesn't make sense. It's a heel versus heel match.
The story was him going to Pierce and asking for an opportunity. Pierce doesn't give him one. So he's going to go do things to give himself noticed and make the opportunity. And you notice the two people he went after were fan favorites.
Exactly. He felt disrespected. He was like, he goes, I beat Sheamus last week and he gets a match this week and I don't.
Mm-hmm.
What's up with that? That's why he was pissed. It's like he goes, it's like I beat Sheamus, but he's getting TV time and I'm not. And it's like, and yeah, him attacking both Seth and R-Truth, two of the most popular faces on the roster, was also the smart move. Yeah, it was wild hearing people chant one more time. Even they did it again with R-Truth, just because they're totally into what he's doing. That he's just a wrecking machine right now. And I also liked how when he told Pierce, he goes, you give me a match, or I'm going to find another victim. It's like, oh boy. It is. We'll see. I mean, at this point, he's definitely still in the mid card, but they give him some stuff to do until they decide to have Seth come back and have them feud for a bit. But when Seth comes back, he definitely needs to Bronson definitely needs to beat Seth at least once to help really get him over. Because otherwise, then what was the point of it's like, because if Seth comes back and just it makes him job immediately, then you wasted the whole thing. It's like he needs to beat Seth when he comes back at least once, especially the first match, to really help finish getting him over. Because right now he's definitely it's incredible. I've always liked him. I liked him when he was in NXT before he got cut loose and he went over to New Japan for a while. I thought he had a lot of potential, so I was happy when he came back. But he's definitely been they gave him he would get a little push, but then it would not. So it was he was basically stuck a lot, lost in the mid card shuffle for quite a while. And then this happened. I was like, oh, it's about damn time. It's like, give this guy a shot, because it's like he's got the talent for a big man. He can really move, and his finisher, as you can see, is is really good. And it's like what he's done, just destroying R-Truth and Seth. It's just been fantastic stuff, and I can't wait to see. Be interested to see where this is going to go next. Especially now with what he did to R-Truth, what Adam Pearce is going to do with him. Because it's like, all right, what are you going to do? Are you going to fine him, suspend him? What are you going to do?
Yeah, he's going to do something to show. Dude, is it okay? Clutch. Pierce is the most incompetent GM of all time, right?
Oh yeah. He's
that's
very incompetent.
That's
blocked
the
me
story,
on Twitter,
though.
by the way.
He blocked you?
Yeah, because I called him bald.
I mean, he is.
I just said, hey, you're bald. I literally said you're bald to one of the things he said, some of the stupid shit he says, and just blocked the next day.
Dang. No wrestlers. One wrestler has me blocked. Sucks. She doesn't really wrestle anymore, so. Or I never even think she did. Rebel from AEW. She blocked me.
She wrestled a little, but not really.
Yeah.
Not a lot.
And then Sean Ross Sapp blocked me. Same day. Same day.
Really?
Yeah, same day. Sean Ross Sapp, because it was back when the first Britt Baker nonsense was happening backstage, and I said something. All I said was
the whole Thunder Rosa fiasco.
Yeah, that's what I said. I said something about you girls. This is why you girls are in the little leagues, and then they all blocked me. So it's fine. Fine. It is what it is. Sean Ross for no reason. Anyway, let's not brag about that. I miss that. I miss what you know what's funny about that? Just in general, I do miss reading his stuff on Twitter. That's all. That's all I'll say. Jerk.
He still makes some pretty amusing posts, and I follow him because he's really reliable as far as news scoops.
Exactly.
And he's got some of the best sources in the business. It's like he's hardly ever wrong when it comes to inside info and scoops. So it's like he's one of the people I go to. I know okay, there's a couple others Meltzer is just a joke, man. He's I don't know what happened to him.
And everybody keeps quoting him. Every little
I listen to
engagement
Meltzer
account
once a week. Once a week, I listen to Meltzer.
I'm judging you for this, Josh. I'm judging.
I go on my walks.
Sometimes he'll have right information, but it's he's just so inaccurate.
No, that's not why I listen. I listen because it makes me feel like a better podcaster. Because the man can't speak. The man can. If you ever listen to his words, he says the same word over and over and over and over again, which is, I'm not making fun of the guy, because he does have good. I like what he says half the time.
Yeah.
And the other half is just funny, because it's this dude, you're an idiot. But the other half is okay, that's some good perspective. Like when he said the perspective of the whole not triple threat, special guest match where Seth took away. I believe that Seth did take a lot away from Drew and Punk. They hated each other, but all of a sudden that match is focused to their hatred of Seth. It's wait a minute. Dave Meltzer actually made a good point. Did you guys read that or hear that?
I heard him say that.
But it was true. Like after I thought about it, I'm like, holy crap, like that makes sense. I could see where someone
I could see that. I didn't think it took that much away from the match. It added more drama, and also, like he said, it was more set up for Punk and Seth down the road once he's done with McIntyre.
Watch this transition. Watch this transition. Speaking of that match, we did have before the tsunami attack on Raw a few weeks ago. We had the whole altercation between Drew coming out of the stands and CM Punk, chasing him out, yada yada yada. Now we have this strap match being set up, Clutch. We're having the second match of them. Now you just said you're so happy. You're so happy. Explain why you're so happy. Are you wanting CM Punk to go over in the strap match? Because I feel like he has to, and they're going to settle at Bad Blood. Like Bad Blood is the blow-off match, Clutch. So what are we thinking about it right now?
I'm so happy for many, many reasons. I think I like violence in wrestling sometimes. Not overly done like they do with Moxley a lot of the time. But I like decent violence. I think Punk can give that now that the stakes are higher. It's a strap match. He leaned into those like whips to McIntyre a few times, and especially matches like that, no DQs, anything that bends the rules, I think adds to like when there's real life like animosity. I still think there's some. I think you can get a really good match out of it, and that's one reason. Mm-hmm. The second one is I'm going to be in Bash in Berlin, so I want to see CM Punk live. Yeah. So that's what I was hoping. I was like, oh, damn, maybe Punk's not going to wrestle there. Shit. And then I see it's most likely the plan. I'm like, all right, let's get it. So that's mainly why I'm mostly happy. I've never seen him live. It's going to be good stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's exciting.
Marking out and like Mussolini. Like you're going to be, you're going to be crying. Dude, like that one.
I'm gonna be like that crying Punk guy when he debuted in AEW.
Isn't that Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm excited for you. I'm actually kind of you think Cody's he's gonna wrestle Kevin Owens. God damn.
Yep.
You know what? Last topic of the night, then we're gonna log off and say our goodbyes. But I want to know what you guys think about this continuation of Cody Rhodes having important matches, and then what are we doing matches? I know why they're doing the Kevin Owens thing. I just want to get your perspective on it because I do know this is going to set up a future match with someone else. So before I get started on my theory, Clutch, what's your theory? Do you like this Kevin Owens setup? Like what's it going to do for Kevin Owens?
It hopefully brings out the prize fighter again, first of all, because babyface KO that just helps his friends is cool. He's funny, and I like that about it. But I like him being a little bit more serious. And right now, his whole thing was like, I haven't earned it, so I don't want it. And then Nick Aldis kind of like baited him into like taking the match by saying, "Oh, I'm gonna give it to Roman," and he was like, "Wait, what?" And he's like, "Yeah, okay, I guess I'll see you in Berlin." And I think more and more you're gonna start seeing hints of like KO going that way.
Yep.
I know I think you're referring to Randy.
Yeah, it's going to be Randy.
Yeah.
And I don't know how it's going to work because if Randy didn't have a world title match, I kind of would have got it. Where it would have been like, okay, why is KO getting a match and I'm not? Why is because Cody wanted to give him the match, right? So he could have been like, oh, why is Cody not giving me the match? Mm-hmm. That would have made, but I don't know how they're going to do it. I think it's going to be fine either way. Randy and Cody's going to be more of a long-term thing, I think. So we'll see how that goes. Plus, it's Kevin Owens versus Cody Rhodes, bro. That's just a good match.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same way how AJ Styles versus Cody Rhodes. You know Cody was going over, but it was a really good match.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm just not looking forward to the promos from Cody, as we all know. I can't stand that man's voice. I'm looking forward to Kevin Owens. If he's turning edgy, I wouldn't say heel, but if he gets edgy,
yes,
Kevin Owens cuts a great promo.
Yeah,
so I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I agree with you, Josh, and I also agree with Clutch. It's a good choice for just a time filler for him, while they try to figure out who's his next thing is going to be. I mean, eventually they're going to get to him and Randy because they've been teasing that for a while. It's like they made sure to make it clear you're seeing him looking at the title, and stuff like that. Yeah, I think him going after Gunther and not working, that's going to add fuel to him eventually being like kind of like get to the point where it's like he's going to be like I want that next world championship. It's like I'm sorry, Cody. It's like I want it. It's like I'm not getting any younger. It's like and then you got the history between them. It's going to be a fantastic feud when it eventually happens. And that's one is definitely one that can stretch up to like a 3-match feud. For give him something really juicy to do before WrestleMania next year.
Yeah.
So and plus he can use it later. Like why did you? It's like yeah, and I agree. It would have made more like why did you give KO a title match but a shot but not me. But he's busy right now with Gunther because that also made sense storyline with how the King of the Ring finish, even though that was a botch, they did a smart thing by using it as an excuse to give the Randy and Gunther a rematch, which I can't wait for because their King of the Ring match was awesome. So it's like they're really going to go all out in Berlin. So I'm excited for that. I think the other problem is on SmackDown is like they need to work on building up some more good heel challengers for Cody. Because really outside of the Bloodline, there's not really other major heels that you consider enough on the main event level. There's a lot of good heels in the mid card for like LA Knight to deal with the U.S. title with Santos Escobar and whatnot, but they definitely need to work on building up some other people for the main event scene on SmackDown for sure.
I agree with that. Now, Clutch, let me ask you this. I think Cody's dropping the title before Mania. I think he's going to drop it to someone soon, most likely at the Rumble. I think it's going to be The Rock. I think The Rock's going to be your champion going into WrestleMania. That's just speculation. I have no clue. That's just how I would book it. So technically, we're in August, September, October, November, December. We still had to make like 4 or 5 more months as Cody is champion. Like, what else can they throw at him? Like, Randy Orton's going to have to fill the rest of the time up until Royal Rumble, right? Right, Clutch?
I'm trying off the top of my head, I'm trying to think maybe injured people coming back, but I can't really think of off the top of my head who's injured on the SmackDown side specifically. They could, in a way, keep him intertwined somewhat with the Bloodline. And I mean that instead of having Solo give him a match with Jacob, I think it's a good match, but having Cody go over kind of like, I think it's a really good match. I don't know how they're gonna do it. Maybe if he teams with Roman, that takes I'm not a fan of it, but I'm trying to think of how do you fill that time, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how you do it.
This is why Roman worked, because he only worked 5 times a year, like or whatever it was. He didn't run through every single babyface in less than a year.
Yeah,
that's why Roman worked.
Roman also worked because Roman worked is the reason we don't have many credible heel people anymore, because Roman was the only heel that you needed.
I agree. It's a double-edged sword. It's like, it's like they built up a lot of good baby faces on the roster, but it's like they definitely got to work on other heels outside of it's like the Bloodline over there right now.
We're in a very tough position, like a new position that we haven't been in like 3-4 years, where we have a champion ready to defend the title every month, and that's just very new to us again, and we don't know how to go about it. So it's going to be interesting to see, because if it's not Randy, I'm really interested to see if they maybe boost somebody up to that main event level just for the match.
Yeah.
Somebody cool. I can't even think of it. I would say like Carmelo Hayes, but he's been taking losses. But it would be a good match. Andrade has been killing it.
Carmelo's still a work in progress, and this feud with Andrade is not just started heating up after he screwed him over to let Santos Escobar get the shot against LA Knight for the U.S. title. So that feud's going to keep going.
Yeah, I think they're going best out of 5.
I would love. It's like Josh Mayberry, my co-host, Ruckus Wrestling. He said, have them do a best of 7. Just let them keep wrestling because their matches have been awesome so far.
Yeah,
So,
they're doing the third one tomorrow. So
If only they
sweet.
had a monster heel, like a big dude, maybe with a stable, maybe a tag team with them. They're all business, and maybe a manager
yeah.
maybe a manager like MVP.
Yeah.
Maybe like the guy's name is Bobby Lashley, and he can be a monster heel for Cody.
that would have been
Right.
cool.
That's why, because it's like Bobby Lashley could have been a great like heel opponent
Massive.
for Cody. So
Yes.
that's like I agree. I'm really surprised that they're letting him go. He's still really good in the ring. It's like it's just one of those like head
It's
scratchers.
weird. Yeah, I don't know if it's a personal reason. Triple H, maybe I don't know.
You saw the quote fairly recently that Bobby put that he preferred Vince.
Oh, he does.
He straight up said he preferred Vince
I didn't know that.
And honestly, the guy's a professional. He likes his accolades. He was champion under Vince, and he's not champion under Triple H. I think it comes down to that.
Or he just might not have the close relationship. That
he
Triple H
he didn't have the time because he's been injured and he's been on and off doing other things. So the quote was kind of like, I don't know how you like didn't burn a bridge there. Maybe not burn, but damage it. Saying, yeah, I preferred Vince.
I mean, Brock probably preferred Vince. Austin Theory probably hates his role now.
Yeah, he's in Nowheresville in the mid card right now.
Yeah, I feel bad for that guy because he's got talent and
He
he's just
does.
being buried because he's Vince's pet. That's why he's being buried. Triple H is being just as petty as Vince was, and it kind of makes me pissed off. But what am I gonna do? Austin Theory's making bajillions of dollars. He's fine. He's fine. That's gonna do it for us tonight. Make sure you turn over to Ruckus Wrestling at 9 p.m. You got 30 minutes if you want to go. Justin Toner was our guest tonight. Please plug your show again. Where to find you? Where are you at on? Are you on Twitters?
Yes, I am on Twitter. You can find me at jtoner1977 on Twitter. I don't tweet too much, it's like, but I do occasionally will say something, especially when it comes to wrestling or something else. And you can find us at Ruckus Wrestling. Let's see here. Let me pull up the Twitter handle here. It's we're at youtube.com. Oh man, I had it for jeez.
It's on the YouTube's people. You got to Google it.
There it goes. Yeah. It's our Twitter is x.com ruckus_EV, Ruckus Entertainment Variety. Find us on YouTube at youtube.com at ruckusev, RUCKUSEV. Same on Twitch as well. So that's where we'll be. We broadcast both on the Twitch, YouTube, and on the X at the same time. So you can watch us anywhere. So we'll be going live in about half an hour or so and talk more wrestling.
Awesome. I might be tuning in while I'm playing college football 25. Clutch, it's been a long time. Do not go away again. I had to deal with Koffler for like we had to talk AEW for like 45 minutes.
Oh no, that sounds like hell.
No, he actually watched SummerSlam. He actually watched it all.
Oh, he made it.
Yeah, well, no. Saturday night after the first match, he's like, SummerSlam's on tonight? I'm like, yeah, dude. He's like, I thought it was tomorrow. So he watched it on Sunday morning. But he actually watched the entire thing and he loved it. That was great. And he's actually been watching Raw. So
that's cool, man.
So please don't leave me again. Where can we find you? And you're getting is basketball coming back?
Still a few months away. So I'll be on, Twitter, Miami Clutch PE. Find me talking my shit on basically everything and making really stupid points or really great points. It's up to you to decide. And I will do my best. I think for the rest of this month, I am good to go. And if everything goes my way and there's a show on that day, on that Thursday before Bash in Berlin, I will be in Berlin, but I will be on the show. So I'll give you a live report there.
Ooh, live report. And if you see Clutch at Berlin, make sure you shake his hand and say, we are fans of Real Talk Wrestling. You can find me nowhere. You can find me in Florida. I'm just hanging out. I'm actually heating. It's hot, guys. I don't know where you are.
Yeah, I
What
heard
the
it's hot.
temperature is, but I'm fucking dying. Sorry, Bobby. I'm dying. But next week we'll be here. We're gonna talk. Next week we're gonna talk about AEW because I want to talk about the impact of Mercedes Moné and how she's bringing in all the viewers to AEW. So tune in next week. We'll be breaking down. We'll be breaking down this whatever this is, right?